dance had been Anna's dream since she first put her face to the window of the Minchnoff School on Norfolk Street and watched the students practicing inside. But of course, all she could do was watch, as they could hardly afford such a luxury as to send her to classes there. When they moved here, Jakob, who had studied to be a rabbi back in Russia, could only find work as the shamash of their temple, opening and closing the doors, sweeping up after services, and adjusting the Torah scroll each morning to the reading of that day. "Tell them they must behave," Bella instructed Anna, "or you know Mr. Yanklowitsch, the cranky neighbor upstairs, will complain for certain." And they were already a week behind in the rent. "Shmuel, Harry, come down now." Anna went to the door and shouted up the staircase in English. "Mama insists that you stop." As she stepped away from him, Morris moved closer to the window, which she had opened in search of a breeze. Though each season came with its challenges, for Bella it was always summer that was the most difficult to bear. In summer it felt like a furnace in their cramped, suffocating rooms. There was little ventilation, and opening the windows only seemed to sweep in more heat from the outside. On top of that, they had to deal with the sweltering hiss from the countless steam irons and the incessant whir of sewing machines, of women trying to earn $1 or $2 from doing piecework that emanated from almost every apartment. Of course, in the winter they all huddled in blankets, as there was rarely heat and often no water from the spigots to boil. But in summer, when school was closed, there was never a moment's peace. The children were always around, the apartment feeling like a cattle car with nowhere for any of them to go. Her husband was always at the temple, if not straightening up the teaching rooms or checking the boiler, then with the men, studying the Talmud. Bella did what little she could to help out with money, sewing garments herself after the dinner plates were cleaned and the rest of the family had gone to bed. Every dollar helped. Outside there was the constant clop of horse wagons on the cobblestone streets, their drivers selling ice or making deliveries, the clatter of hundreds of peddlers with their overstuffed pushcarts until well after dark, the ever-present haggling back and forth in a dozen accents over prices or bickering if someone felt wronged. Bella had given birth to 4 boys, and loved each as if he was her only one. But if she was truthful, there was one who occupied the space closest to her heart. Yes, Shmuel always hid in her skirt when his brother reached his boiling point. But he was also the sweetest thing she knew, a wounded bird compared to his far more devilish twin. Each of her boys had their own distinct qualities. Saul, the oldest one, was the smart one, his head swimming with numbers and logic. He would surely stay in school and become an accountant or a teacher one day. Harold was as temperamental as he was lazy, always doing his best to slough his responsibilities onto his twin. But he was also the most handsome, with a charm no one could deny. And Morris, little Morris, was the feistiest. He was never still for a moment, even in the womb. He would go far in life, Bella was sure. She just didn't know where. Just far. But Shmuel, with his apple-red cheeks and doe-like eyes, he was her favorite. She always said a smile from him could make the birds laugh in the trees. The twins ran back in, Shmuel in tears, either from pain or anger. "Harry hurt me, Mama." "What a baby!" his brother mocked him, tauntingly wiping his eyes. "Wah, wah, wah." "I'm not a baby, but you're a cheater," Shmuel shot back. All right, Bella exhaled in frustration. "Harold, help me peel the potatoes for the soup. Quit trying to avoid your chores." "Let Shmuel do it," Harold protested. Then he rubbed his eyes some more with a glance at his brother. "Wah, wah, wah." "I said stop, Harold, and now, or you won't even have a spoonful of soup for supper." Bella scolded him in English, smacking the top of his head with her open hand. Maybe she did baby Shmuel just a bit, but Harold just would not quit. Okay, Harold finally surrendered. The boys knew when she spoke English, she meant business. But after a moment, the impish smile returned to his face, and he grinned at his brother. "Last one?" Shmuel glared at him accusingly. "Mama said stop. I heard her. But 5 zuzim."